Hello there. Let's do a pick-a pile today. Choose from the following. We have this seashell for number 1. This clear quartz for number 2. This amethyst for number 3. And this shell. Plus this extra little fun thing. I got these together, so it felt like they should be together. All right, I will see you in your pile. So if you chose this shell, this is your reading. Let's see what we have in store for you. Temperance is the first card to pop out. Okay. And then we have the Knight of Blades. Oh. The Emperor. The Hermit. It feels like perhaps we could take one more card. Let's see if any others want to. Ooh. Okay. So let's start and go in this direction. First, we have the Temperance card, which, as we can see here, is a card that talks about finding stability, finding peace within yourself. Do you see how this is like almost a third eye? And their actual eyes are closed. It gives the impression it's like even with our eyes closed, we can still let our intuition lead us and guide us forward and help us with the path. It's like this almost forms a portal, you see, around them. And so it's like wherever we go, as long as we trust our intuition, we know that we are guided and protected as we go along. Now, this is the Knight of Blades. Next, the Knight of Blades is a card that talks about moving forward quickly with this blade, or what is also known as like something that you think about a lot, something that you might spend a lot of time, that might occupy a lot of space in your head. Now, that is going to be something that carries you forward. You know, I don't know if you can hear the laundry machine go off right now, but it's giving a song. And it's the mood it's giving, it's this happy kind of cheerful situation, right? It's like, let's go, we're ready. In this case, the laundry is ready to be picked up. So it's it gives the sense that like we are ready to go, we're ready to move forward, especially on this thing that takes a lot of mental space. it's like we mentally are in a good place. We're calm, stable, pretty grounded, and we trust our intuition. And now we are moving forward on some kind of endeavor. Maybe it's just something that you have been working on, and something that you spend a lot of time thinking. Now, this may be different for everybody, but just take whatever that first thing in your mind was, use that to help guide you. So now we have the Emperor here, which is a card that talks about you being a leader. The Emperor it's like almost like the father figure of the tarot, right? It is this leader, it is the patriarch, it is strong, stable, but they are also somebody who listens to others, right? The Emperor doesn't just do things in a silo. They have a team. It's like we have our team around us as we move forward. Maybe this is somebody significant in your life that represents this: a grandfather, a mentor, a co-worker, a boss. It could be a father, those kind of things, whoever this represents in your life. Now, I see that this has some kind of impact on your journey. Maybe they have maybe it's the way that they think about something that has impacted you, or maybe you want to do something like them. Maybe some words that they have inspired you to lead this path, or perhaps you're running the opposite direction of it, or perhaps you're working on these fatherly issues. Whatever resonates for you, that is your reading, right? Now we have the Hermit card next, which is a card that talks about going within, not quite spending time with others, and really using this time to think and focus about things for yourself. Something that would make you find the answer, the clarity. You spend some time alone, and alone you can clear out the mental clutter, the impact that others have had or said, and you can use this time to clear things out and think about it for yourself and find the wisdom and the truth the answers that you're looking for. Maybe especially as it relates to this figure, or perhaps they have some kind of answer. Now, it's so interesting because it's like we have another Knight, right? And so it's like to find kind of clarity within your head and your mental space, more structure, more rigor, maybe some kind of masculine figure in your life will help with the answer. You do have to spend some time in solitude to think about that and reflect. So that's what's happening in your mental space. Now we also have the Knight of Cups. So this is now talking about your emotional space. The head and the heart are very different things. They do both exist for separate things, right? They have separate priorities. It's a wonderful balance that we see here, though, because we have the Emperor here for your mind, which is kind of, the Emperor is quite logical and like they think through rationally for things, versus Cups is all about feeling and emotions. And we have the Queen of Cups here to guide us along in this journey. Not only that, we have the King of Cups to kind of finish it out. But let me start here and we'll keep going this way. So as it regards to your emotions, your relationships, the things that you've been working on in this sense, this is everything that you've been working on in your head, logically, rationally. But now it's about your heart and your feelings. And here what I see is that we have been working on cultivating, feeling our emotions. We've been working on understanding what our emotions can teach us and tell us about ourselves and about certain situations that we have been in the past. Starting with the Seven of Pentacles here, this is an energy which talks all about us putting in the work and starting to see the flowers blooming, starting to see the work paying off. So if this is like you truly connecting more with your emotions and yourself and understanding what those can teach us, what those mean about ourselves, what we can do to reflect and think, now I see that that is clearly paying off. Perhaps you have been going to therapy, perhaps you have just been journaling or doing the meditations, but you've been doing the work in some way, and this is clearly paying off. I want to emphasize again how so many of these figures have their eyes closed here. 3, right? So it's like we have the sense of like inner peace built and cultivated, and we trust our intuition and our inner knowing that we can get through things. And we see clearly what our emotions are here to teach us and to tell us. So with that, we have the King of Cups to finish. Now, this is the counterpart of the Queen of Cups here. But what I want to say about these two cards, these are the rulers of the emotions, right? So like our emotions, we have this emotional maturity, the sensitivity. We understand them very well. We've leveled up in a sense, and we do not let our emotions take control of us, but we control our emotions and use those to tell us what we need to know and how we should move forward, how we let those lead. So clearly what I see here is you have worked on your emotions a lot. You've leveled up. This is the highest you can go, right? And it's clearly you've been putting in the work and it's paying off, and we see it. So to kind of just go all together now, from here we have the Temperance card, which talks about peace, and we have peace and balance and stability. And if there's anything that we have in this reading, it's that between the cups, which here you have the King, the Queen of Cups. So your emotions are quite balanced, but also with your head here, with your thoughts. So your head and your heart are all together balanced, and this creates a really good sense, a really good area for you to be able to do whatever you want and harness that ability to be limitless, honestly. Now, that is because you have been working on building this strength, building this sense of when things come to your head and your logic, you are not only turning towards traditional stable senses of mentorship, but you're also going within and seeing what you can learn. You're learning from these masters, yes, but you're also cultivating that and integrating that with things that you have learned yourself. And that is what you together you build on with your head. There's so much here that happens that you can unlock. There's so much power here. And I see that is what's going on with your head and what you're thinking about and how you kind of go through life. But on the other side to that is how we go through life emotionally, right? How are you on a mental space? And here what I see is that you have put in the work to balance yourself, to understand what your emotions teach you, how you can lead through emotional connections and empathy, but also be vulnerable and connect with others in that way. So here, there's a beautiful sense of us putting in the work to understand ourselves, our shadows, and to be able to let our emotions teach us valuable lessons so that we can integrate them and move forward stronger without our emotions ruling us, but us ruling our emotions, letting us teach us how to proceed and to move forward. So this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope it was helpful. This is for my pile number 2, everybody who picked this clear quartz. This is going to be your reading. Now, let's see what you need to know, or what you need to really hear. Knight of Crystals to start. And then we have all of these cards that came flying out. Isn't it interesting how that works timing-wise? It took a while for this to come out, but once it did, then all of these cards came out. And now it's coming out a little, like, there's like a lot, you know? The card is kind of shuffled quite quickly. Let's see if there are any other cards. Okay. Now that is all I'm going to take. Give me a second while I adjust these. All right, lovely. Now, let's begin from this side. We have the Knight of Crystals to start. Now, the Knight of Crystals is a card that talks about us being on a journey of something to do with passion, something to do with taking action, something to do with something that just fires us up and lights us up. Do you see how they hold this wand and this point, this crystal, and it's lit up? This is something that excites them, and they're excited to go on this journey and work on this because it's something they are passionate about. Crystals are related to fire, which is all about that passionate, driven action. Now, we have the 10 of Blades next. So this talks about an ending to a cycle where you had things you didn't believe in yourself, where you let your overthinking, your anxious thoughts, those prevent you from sleeping. They kept you down. They kept you unable to move forward. What I'm here to tell you is the 10 is the last card right before it goes to the court. It's 1 through 10 before it goes page, knight, queen, king. So that indicates this is the end of this. You're sick of this happening, right? And you want a change. So there is going to be a change. And that starts because of you taking this action towards going after this thing that you're passionate about. Now, we have the Ace of Cups next. This is a card that talks about a brand new beginning, a new journey, one that emotionally satisfies you, one that you can pour your emotions and your love and your feelings, and one that pours back into you. Do you see how the cup literally overflows into this beautiful cloud? This is guided, again, because we have made the choice to move past situations in the past where others have let us down. We are taking matters into our own hands. Now, with the 6 of Pentacles, this is a card that talks about how you have this balance that is achieved. Do you see how their hands are like in a prayer kind of motion? It's like we have done the work to balance our inner world so that it also reflects in our external world. You know, when you can kind of quiet the chatter, that mental chatter, that stuff, so that you know what truly you believe in and what you want and go towards, then that's unbelievable, and it happens. And this abundance, the freedom, the wealth, that is everything that comes back, because internally you are also clear and free. Now we have the 2 of Crystals next. This is a card that talks about making a choice, making a decision. You know, I can't help but look at how there's the same kind of circle situation in the back here. it's like much bigger, you know? It's almost like maybe there was this final point, like on a full moon, you know, we were just done with this energy and we decided to do something about it. And here it's like we're past it, you know? It's like we're looking at it from that's way past there, and now we're moving forward because we've moved past this blockage, and we're now starting a new cycle where we are open. We're opening our heart and we feel. And now we are balancing ourselves, our inner and external world. And now it's like there is a spark back, there is a light back. And now we make that choice again. You make the choice and the decision towards what lights you up, what makes you excited, what fires you up. And then here, what comes back is the Nine of Pentacles. This is feeling abundant. This is being able to show off your abundance. I can't even do you see how there's the black bird here, and now that same bird, it was like we were just starting to take off, but now it's like sparkling, like there's this light that just, this sparkle that just penetrates everything. You're gonna be wearing beautiful gowns, you're gonna have luxurious things, you're gonna feel good, because this is because you have chosen your authenticity and chosen the things that light you up. When you look back, you are proud of the choices and decisions that you have made, because they reflect who you are and what you want, and the universe respects that, and they reflect that back to you, because you are choosing your authentic self, one that is good. Now we have the Page of Blades. The Page of Blades indicates that it's like when we move on from this, it's literally the page is the next card. This is us taking control of the blade, taking control of our thoughts. And rather than that, let them rule us and get us down, we hold the power, we hold the decisions, we hold the, literally, we have all control here. They don't control us, right? You control your thoughts. You understand that you are better, bigger, and you break the cycle. You move forward. You step forward into something new, different. Now, to finish, we have the Moon, which is a card that talks about, first of all, the moon is present throughout this entire reading. We talked about it here, 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 right? So this is like when we reflect back upon this journey, you know, the moon cycle, I believe it's every 28 days. So, or wait, I'm sorry, that is the menstrual cycle. Is the moon cycle also 28 days? I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, we have the different phases, and they each represent a different phase. And we can see the progress that we make through these phases. And we can reflect back and look at each step along the way, along the journey, and see how we've making those choices and taken those steps to move and be something different, do something different, believe in something different, take action towards something different, and see how that has been aligned with everything else in your world. So, with this moon card, what we have is this final sense of peace, of reflection, of looking at this journey and what this can teach us, to see how far that we have progressed, to move beyond our limitations, to move past our shadows. Well, what a brave thing this is for you to do, and look at how far that you have come. Take a moment to really enjoy and appreciate that, and really think about how far you have come. To insert myself just for 1 second, I think about, I started with a new therapist at the beginning of the year, and now, you know, it's 11 months later. I have progressed so very far. You may not recognize it when you're in the middle of it, but when you stop to think, you really do realize that you've made it much further than you realize, and you should be grateful and you should really be proud of yourself for that. So take this moment to be proud of yourself and reflect. And with that, I thank you for tuning in. Bye. If this is the crystal that you chose, the beautiful amethyst here, then this is your reading. Let's go. We have this. Okay. Let's take these for now. So here, let us begin on this side. We have the Knight of Cups, which talks about you being on some kind of journey. One where you are working on your emotions, your relationships with others, and you feel as if there is this cup or your heart that you have to offer to others. With this 5 of Blades, this shows me that there is like an ending to the kind of past versions of you, of the way that you thought about things, of the way that you wanted to think through patterns. And that's a result of your culture, the limiting beliefs, society, what you were raised up in. And you see how the swords, it's like they were all keeping you down, right? You're unable to move forward with all of these kind of down. But here, it's like we pick up the sword, we pick it up, and we don't let it hold us down any longer. Like here, now we hold the tool in our hand and we use it and we wield it. No longer will this way of thinking rule us in the way that we behave, but we control our thoughts and we shape our thoughts. And we take action. We don't let our anxious thoughts guide us towards moving towards something. We move forward beyond that. This is about you taking your power back, taking control of that back. Now, let's talk about the Death card next. This is a card that talks about ending cycles and new cycles beginning. We can't have a new beginning if there isn't an ending to this, because that there is, all of this past stuff. That's one version. As we blossom and bloom through our cycles of life, you will see that as you end one cycle, a new one begins, one where you can integrate the lessons learned from this past one and use it to blossom and bloom in this next journey, in this next phase for you. So we have the Queen of Cups next. Now, I love to see this because it's like there's like this nourishing thing happening. The Queen of Cups is somebody who's extremely intuitive. She is like a mother. She nurtures the cups. She rules the suit of cups, which talks about our emotions, our relationships, and this right here it's like we have this sense of peace now within us. The eyes are closed, but we are trusting that our emotions are actually what help us see the truth. Energy doesn't lie. And so you let your intuition guide you forward, help you, move you forward. And you also allow the time to grieve what happened in the past here, right? As we move through these cycles, there will be these moments and phases where, some moments will feel better than others, or feel more sad than others. This is giving you permission to totally feel those feelings, learn what you can, and nurture yourself, take care of yourself first as you move forward. So, what we have next is the 8 of Crystals. Now, this is a card that talks about a lot of fast movement, a lot of shooting movement. Do you see how this is like these are just shooting, right? So it's like if we are off to the races or something, if this is like our goal, like we are moving, we have done our action, that things are taking off and things are really moving forward now. This is because you took this time to not allow your thoughts lead you. You take control over your thoughts. This changes a cycle. There is an end to a cycle where other people's thoughts and opinions held you down, but you are blossoming and blooming and transforming this into something new and different. And now this is about self-care, nurturing yourself, believing in yourself, and trusting that your intuition, your emotions tell you what you need to know, everything you need to know about how to move forward. Now, with the 8 of Crystals, it talks about fast movement forward towards this next thing. And to finish, we have the 9 of Cups, which is a card that talks about having total wish fulfillment. This is like the wish fulfillment card. Look at how all of these cups are lit up. And not only are they lit up in full, but it's like, boom, it's like a pillar of light, and so they are just absolutely overflowing, and it's like powerful, like a laser in the sky almost shooting up. Total wish fulfillment. And it's interesting because it's like they're looking back. So we're here on this journey where we are working on trusting our emotions, our intuitive abilities, and learning what we can from our emotions. We're going on this journey where we're working on these things. Here, we're like removing the way that other people's thoughts and opinions, the way that society has made us think. We are removing all of that, and we are picking up the swords. We're becoming independent thinkers. We will control our thoughts and what shape us, not let others control and shape us and tie us down. You pick up the sword. You have the power. You wield. And this will lead to some death and transformation of this old cycle, this old version of you. But don't be afraid, because you are blossoming into something beautiful, whole, and you are learning from everything this has taught you. And you're moving forward to step into this place where you have now elevated up. You've leveled up to the Queen of Cups. You're emotionally in tune. You understand your feelings, your emotions, what they are trying to tell you, and the wisdom of your intuition, of that inner voice inside your head guiding you. And now, trusting in your own abilities, maturing and leveling up in this way, you move forward and take action on those other things in your life, and things will start to move fast and quick. And, you will get everything that you have really wished for, and that will give you that emotional satisfaction. And you're just like, as you have leveled up on this path now, it's like, wow, you look back and look at this journey and you're so appreciative of everything that happened here, because you wouldn't have gotten all of these full cups if it hadn't been through all of these experiences. You now feel richer and fuller and better. Thanks for tuning in. If you picked this shell and another shell combo, then this is your pile. I'm going to show you the other shell because she's quite beautiful. All right, let's get into your reading. What you need to know. Oh, I'm not going to take all of those. I'll take these two. It seems these. Now, it is quite interesting. Ah, wow. I'm gonna take all of these cards. What I was about to say, I mean, I pay attention to the way that, I'm not going to take any reversals, but I'm going to, something about the way that this is laid out that I think I am going to honor. So let's just go one more. Oh, okay. And give me a second while I try to lay this out in a way. It is so interesting how this was laid out. And I wanna, the other piles were a little different, but this is just the vibe. So we're gonna go with it. All right. Let's start, I go from left to right. So let's start over here and then we'll move our way over. Let me just make sure that you can see all these. Let's make this easier on myself. And maybe you would like to see all of the cards because they are quite beautiful. This is a very good deck made by Vanessa Samina, a wonderful YouTuber that I learned a lot of tarot from. So we love to support. All right, let's start here and then move this way. This is the 10 of Pentacles to start, and then the Devil. And then I also want to say the Empress, it was like on top, was the way that it kind of appeared. So let's start here with the 10 of Pentacles. Now this is a card that talks about like generational wealth. It talks about the legacy that you want to leave. Here we see an older and an elderly man, and you know, as they look at all of the pentacles, it is quite complete. 10 is the last number. So they have clearly accumulated, you know, wealth. Perhaps they are thinking about the future generations. They're thinking about how money is thought about. And with the Devil here, it's almost like there is this kind of warning of they are afraid, I guess, of, you know, the consequences of going too far in one direction, of what money can lead to, of it being, you know, a negative thing rather than a positive thing. Now, there's neither of both, but it's more about how you use it, the energy behind it, the intention. And what I want to say is it balanced with the Empress card here, which is so different. This is kind of more of like our temptations, the things that, you know, you may be led astray a little bit, right? Money can lead to this. However, with the Empress here, that came out on top of the card. It's like, there is a balance. There are two sides, right? Yes, this is ever present, but that's ever present with everything. You have the choice to do the good or the bad thing. And a lot of it happens and is created by your environment. How are you nurtured? How was the nature of the environment in which you were brought up in? And so if we're thinking about the generations, you have to nurture this innate ability, this sense, these things where you teach them, right? You don't just leave things and let them fend for themselves, let other people, other culture, other influences tell them. You have to be the one who nurtures and teaches and tells those things that are so important and dear to you. And with this, nothing can go wrong. For there's nothing wrong with money itself or itself. It's about your intention. So if your intention is good to create good things when you receive this luck and abundance, then it will continue flowing. If there is this this bad intention, then it can lead us astray and lead us towards darkness. You must make the decision. It's almost like with these two dogs, you must make the decision which way you go. But that's the constant battle. A lot of it has to be, right, inherently, you within. What do you choose to exemplify to be, or will you be influenced by your surroundings, your external environment? It's meant to be taught and to choose and to be an example. So let's move on to this. We have the Two of Blades, the Three of Cups, and then the Ace of Blades here. So it's like here, there's a decision to be made. Do you see how we're a little blindfolded here? You can't quite make the right decision. You don't quite know what that is, but you're unable to move forward. So maybe what do we do instead? We actually socialize with our friends. We network, we connect with others. And through this, then we figure out together if there is a solution. And it's also saying it's also like this card always reminds me of kind of letting loose a little bit. You know, it's like they're drinking or celebrating, having a good time, spending this time. And so it gives the sense of like that same thing, yet through this partying, through spending this time with your loved ones, through those you want to socialize with, this actually leads you to clarity. See, it's like we were blindfolded before, unable to pick or choose. But now that we've had this time, that we spent this time with others, maybe drank a little bit, slept on it, now we have a decision. Now we know solidly this is the path forward. And that feels like the right decision. You see the flowers are even blooming on top of the crown. It's like this feels right. Versus here, we clearly cannot move forward. Let's ask those and spend time with those that we love and fill our cup. And then you will find the answer. So let's move forward towards this. The Temperance, 10 of Crystals, and then the King of Pentacles. So let's start here. Temperance and the 10 of Crystals. Temperance is a card which talks all about finding balance within ourself, our inner and outer realm, trusting our intuition, our third eye right here, Do we see how the eyes are closed? And yet this is very active. So, this is the 10 of crystals, which is, you can see it looks as if they have like the weight of the world on their shoulders, right? They are lifting and carrying it themselves, this tiny little human. That's what it feels like, compared to taking up the space like this, compared to this King of Pentacles. So what the energy here is talking about is there needs to be more balance that is brought back in, especially when it comes to the things that you are passionate about, the things that you are willing to carry on the back of your shoulders, right? On yourself. But it must be balanced, because you cannot do this forever. You will be burnt out, right? And the 10, it's also a number of endings, right? If you continue to do this, like, will you be able to move forward? I trust that you will be able to, but burnout is a tough thing, and you don't have to burn yourself out. You can have more balance in your life. It is not a if this or that. It is more of this balance of, do you see this King of Pentacles? They also have a lot of weight on their shoulders, a lot of responsibilities. They are a king after all, right? But kings have great teams of people that they can rely on for support, people for wisdom, people who have expertise in certain areas. They have people who help them. They are spending their money on certain things so that they can help them overall spend their energy focusing on what is truly important to them. Whether it is finances, whether it is working towards this passion project of yours, but there must be balance. And this is saying, if you are in this position of some material abundance and you could afford to, for example, what's coming to my mind is hiring a cleaner, hiring a chef, or having these things, laundry, all of these things, like somebody else take responsibility for that, so that you can spend more of your time focusing, right? That takes all of these problems off, right? Which gives you more energy to do what you are passionate about. So it brings more balance into your life here. Not saying you can't do it, but do it with a little bit of help. It's okay, especially if you are in this place where you can. It could even just be, it doesn't have to be so extreme. It could literally be, there are like AI resources that are free that you could outsource things to, right? If you want to have somebody help you with a schedule, I'm pretty sure there are tools that help you do that. Anything. Order groceries for you, buy things. Like, there are systems and tools created to help you along. And yeah, sometimes you don't even have to spend money. It's just look at the abundance of resources that are around you. So now let's finish here with the 6 of Blades, Judgment, and the Hierophant. What it looks like now is that you are starting this journey. You have been going on this journey, actually, because it's almost like we're kind of reflecting back on all of this. But we're on this journey where we are slowly removing all of these swords, these thoughts or limitations. We remove all of them, or we transform them. It's like a new way of thinking. The first time that something shocks you, you're just like, what? And then you have to think about things in a whole new way. It's I'm trying to think of an example, but what comes to mind is like going back to your hometown and then seeing the way, something you thought as a kid, this is like just how it was, but then you go back as an adult and you realize, oh, that is just a machine. You know, that is this. It's not actually whatever, like what I thought and my child brain thought. It's also, okay, now I have a good one. It's like, how do I explain it? The first time you experience, all right, I guess I'm just gonna go there. This is what I mean called to talk about. It's like the first time you experience racism and you're like, how did this person purely did these things because of one belief that they have. It was nothing that I did wrong, simply the color of my skin or something. And when you had that, when I had that realization, I mean, it shatters your brain, right? You're like, how can someone think about things this way or behave in this way simply because of this? Whether or not you agree or disagree, it's like a life-shattering moment to understand a different person's point of view, whether you understand it or not, but just to understand where they come from. That kind of shattered my thinking. Now, it's like the first time I took a philosophy class, and oh my god, my professor was like, I'm going to be the devil's advocate right now and talk about this side. I was like, I had never realized you could think in both ways and yet not have to agree, right? But this is just one way of thinking. And now I'm thinking about this devil card here, and this is like thinking about the devil's advocate. That's not necessarily the bad thing. It's just a different opinion, a different way of behaving, of thinking. And the devil card is not inherently a bad card either. I think many people are afraid of it simply because, I mean, it represents a lot of negativity in many people, to many people. And yet what it truly is about is, it's more about self-sabotage. Sometimes we are the only person who can set ourselves free. You know what those temptations are, what those things that keep you down, keep you behind, and yet we might be addicted to it. And there's no shame in it, right? Many substances, many things are created to be addictive because they want you to keep purchasing, to keep doing, right? To keep this pattern of behavior. But you have to be the strong one to break that cycle and to choose yourself, to choose your own intuition, to choose what you want, to choose what feels good and right for you. Not anybody else, not the short term, but long term. Thinking about your future generations, what do they want? It is so hard to think so far in the future like that too, especially if you are younger, on the younger side, right? But you have to fight against those urges. What are your long-term goals? What do they look like? What is the person that embodies that look like? Do they look more like this empress? Able to create, able to do beautiful things, able to manifest, able to generate anything they want because they do it from a place of love? Or do you want to do it I don't know if you can hear the sirens, but right, like this is whatever it represents to you, but you have your own option. And if you find yourself sticking to these same compulsions, these addictions, these obsessions, these fears. Look into it. What can this teach you? What is the deeper meaning behind it? What is the deeper thing, the reason, the emotion? What is it? And also, if it is truly like an addiction to some kind of substance, you must be strong enough to have that power to fight it, to fight the urge, to overcome it. You have to make that decision every day. I'm not going to be a smoker. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to do this. You have to make the decision to put on the gym shorts, to put the work in every single day. Who do you want to be a reflection of? Now that is up to you. It's like, I kind of skipped over here, but I mean, that's quite representative of this finishing moment over here too. It's like, here, judgment, it's like when Judgment Day comes, are you proud of the person that you reflect? Is that who you are? Are you proud of what you do, of your behaviors or of actions, of what you've done so far? Are they guided by this higher purpose, this higher calling, this higher will that you feel proud of and is your guiding star? You are going on the journey where you are removing any limiting beliefs, anything, and you are using that to power you through, to be authentic, to be aligned, to choose to nurture yourself, to fight the urges, to move forward stronger and better than ever. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for spending the time with me.